Imagine waking up in paradise, surrounded by ocean views, warm sun, and the soft sway of the sea. You're on vacation. Life should feel effortless. And behind that ease is someone you rarely notice, your cabin steward, always smiling, always saying, "Good morning," always making your bed, folding your towels into zoo animals, and magically erasing every mess you left behind. But what if that smile is hiding frustration? What if your polite little habits, the ones you assumed were helping, are actually making their job a waking nightmare? Because cabin stewards won't tell you this. They're trained to be gracious, discreet, and invisible. But talk to them after hours, away from supervisors, and a pattern emerges. There are certain passenger behaviors that drive them absolutely up the wall. Some are mildly irritating, some are dangerous, and some are so bizarre they've become infamous stories that get told on every new hire orientation, whispered in crew quarters like ghost tales. So today we're pulling back the curtain. Based on real reports, confirmed crew interviews, and internal cruise line protocol, here are the 14 things cabin stewards secretly hate and how you can avoid them. Number 6 was such a mess it triggered a full incident report, affected multiple cabins, and made it into crew training slides. And trust me, if you've ever used the "Do Not Disturb" sign thinking you were being courteous, you might be public enemy number 1 without even realizing it. This isn't about calling anyone out. We've all been there. Most guests who make these mistakes think they're helping. But now you'll know what really goes on behind the doors and how to be the kind of guest your steward will never forget. Before we dive into the chaos, uncover secrets cruise lines don't tell you. And if you've ever made a cruise mistake, even an innocent one, drop a comment below and say, "Guilty." You're in good company. We've all done it. It starts with a small, well-intentioned act. You're headed out for the day. Maybe you're off to snorkel in Cozumel, explore a historic city, or just grab a long lunch on the Lido deck. As you leave your cabin, you hang the "Do Not Disturb" sign on the handle. After all, you're thinking ahead. What if I want to come back for a nap? Better safe than sorry, right? Unfortunately, that small gesture is one of the biggest cruise cabin misunderstandings. On every major cruise line, from Royal Caribbean to Carnival, Norwegian to Princess, crew are trained to strictly honor the "Do Not Disturb" sign. It's not a suggestion, it's a boundary, a legal, contractual barrier that your cabin steward cannot cross, even if they know for certain you're not inside. The rules are in place for your safety and privacy, yes, but they also create an invisible force field. Once the sign is up, the room is effectively off limits. Stewards cannot clean it, they cannot replenish towels, they cannot take out the trash, remake the bed, or even peek inside to check if you're gone. And here's what happens more often than you'd believe. Guests return in the evening, confused and irritated. The room looks untouched. The bathroom still smells like sunscreen. And they march to guest services to file a complaint. Some even demand their steward be replaced, unaware that they were the ones who prevented entry. One steward aboard the MSC Meraviglia shared anonymously in a crew forum that he was nearly written up after a passenger reported him for neglect. It took a supervisor reviewing hallway security footage to confirm the D&D sign had been hanging on the door for 11 hours straight. The emotional toll is real. Stewards often take pride in their work. When they're accused of failing to deliver, even when they've followed every rule, it creates stress, defensiveness, and worse morale for the entire shift. So if you're stepping out for the day and expect a clean room when you return, leave the sign off the handle. Use it only if you're staying in for an extended period or if you truly don't want anyone entering. Because as far as the crew is concerned, that sign means no touchy, no exceptions. Let's talk about toilets. Not the most glamorous topic on your cruise itinerary, but one that could make or break your entire voyage if things go wrong. Cruise ship toilets aren't like the ones back home. These are vacuum-operated systems designed to work with gravity, suction, and specialized marine sanitation lines. They're efficient, high-tech, and tightly regulated under the CDC's Vessel Sanitation Program and IMO, International Maritime Organization standards. But they're also fragile, very fragile. They are only designed to process three things: human waste, a small amount of water, and the thin, specially supplied toilet paper found in your cabin. That's it. Nothing else. But cruise stewards have horror stories, real ones, confirmed across multiple ship forums and crew testimonies about what guests try to flush. Top offenders include flushable wipes, spoiler, they're not, sanitary pads and tampons, cotton balls and Q-tips, diapers, tissues and paper towels, chewing gum, makeup remover pads, and yes, once even a plastic souvenir cup. You read that right. A guest once tried to flush a cup, clogging a full section of cabins. One crew member aboard a Holland America ship recalled how a single foreign object caused a backup that rendered 23 cabins' bathrooms unusable for 8 hours. That meant blocked toilets, overflowing waste, emergency plumber calls, and several guests demanding compensation. And who's the first to notice something's wrong? The cabin steward. They're the ones who have to respond when a guest mentions a strange smell. They're the ones who get called in to clean up overflows, file maintenance tickets, and try to keep a straight face while a guest swears, "It wasn't me." Even worse, in some cases, guest services will document recurring clog incidents tied to the same room. If the steward is working that room, they might be questioned, even reprimanded, if the blockage wasn't reported quickly. So here's your rule. If it didn't come from you or isn't cruise-provided toilet paper, don't flush it. No wipes, no wrappers, no hygiene products, no exceptions. There's a trash bin in your bathroom for everything else. Use it. Your steward and your entire hallway will silently thank you. This one might catch you off guard, especially if you pride yourself on being a clean, respectful guest. Let's say you've just finished showering. You used a towel, and instead of tossing it onto the floor, you do what any well-mannered adult might do at home. You fold it. You drape it neatly back over the towel rack, thinking, "That's better. I'm being helpful." Except, you've just unknowingly created one of the most awkward dilemmas for your cabin steward. You see, stewards are trained to work efficiently. They clean 20 to 25 cabins a day, sometimes more. To keep up, they rely on visual cues. A towel on the floor? Used. A towel in the tub? Definitely used. But a towel folded perfectly on the rack? That's where things get tricky. Now, your steward has no idea whether that towel is clean or not. Was it used to dry your body, your hands? Did it touch your feet, or was it just decoration? Once it's folded, they can't tell. And here's the issue. Most cruise lines have strict protocols on minimizing laundry waste. According to crew policies shared from Royal Caribbean and Norwegian training manuals, stewards are instructed not to replace towels that appear untouched. So unless there's a clear sign that the towel has been used, they're told to leave it. The result? That same towel, used by you but folded to look fresh, ends up right back in your hands the next morning. Now you're drying your face with what might be yesterday's foot towel. Yikes. Some stewards have even described the situation as a towel boomerang. It keeps coming back because the signal was unclear. So here's what to do instead. If it's used, toss it clearly in the tub or shower. Or drape it over the bathroom door. Or even leave it on the floor, spa style. Whatever you do, don't fold it like it just came from the linen closet. Stewards appreciate tidiness, but they appreciate clarity even more. If they have to waste time trying to guess which towel is clean, they risk reusing a dirty one or wasting a clean one. Either way, it's inefficient and it slows them down. So keep it simple. Be obvious. Help them help you. Let's move into one of the stranger and more shocking behaviors cabin stewards encounter, the mysterious art of hiding the evidence. When something breaks in your cabin, the logical reaction is to call the steward or report it to guest services, right? Not always. Some passengers, whether out of embarrassment, guilt, or sheer laziness, try to cover it up instead. And what they leave behind isn't just confusing, it's dangerous. Cruise stories collected from message boards like Cruise Critic and verified forums for maritime employees tell of guests who broke drinking glasses and slid the shards under the bed, spilled red wine on a pillow, then wrapped it like a burrito in a bath towel, cracked a bathroom mirror and covered it with a hanging toiletry bag, hid a vomit-soaked comforter under the mattress. Yes, these are real examples, shared by stewards anonymously, because legally they can't identify passengers, but they absolutely need to vent. One Carnival steward posted that he once found a soaking, wet, moldy bath mat rolled up and stuffed behind the curtain after a week-long cruise. The guest had spilled an entire bottle of sunscreen and never told anyone. It took hours of deodorizing and 2 full disinfecting treatments to fix the smell. Another steward from the celebrity fleet discovered a broken lamp hidden behind a couch, along with a sticky trail of melted candy in the drawer. You might think you're being clever by taking care of an accident yourself, but the crew will always find it. They know every drawer, every nook, every oddly shaped towel. If something's been hidden, they'll spot it, and now it becomes a bigger issue because it's delayed. Worse, when these messes are found late, they often get reported during turnover day, the busiest time when stewards only have minutes to prepare rooms for new guests. A cleanup that could have taken 10 minutes on day 1 now takes 45. And your steward gets penalized for not being fast enough. Some lines, like MSC and Costa, have even begun photographing damage and messes for documentation to protect crew members from guest complaints. So, what's the best move when something goes wrong? Be honest. Stewards won't judge you. If you spill, break, or stain something, just let them know. They've seen it all, and chances are they've cleaned up worse. The mess isn't the problem. Trying to hide it is. Vacation selfies, sunset dinners, gala nights. On a cruise, looking good is part of the experience. But there's one detail most guests overlook, what they're wiping that glam off with. White towels, crisp, fluffy, bright. And unfortunately, a casualty of vacation vanity. Cruise stewards frequently report that guests use these pristine white towels to remove makeup, apply self-tanner, wipe off hair dye, or clean foundation brushes. And it shows. One laundry worker on a princess ship admitted in an internal training session that once a towel is stained with bronzer or mascara, it rarely comes clean, no matter how industrial the detergent. Even worse, when the towel goes back into circulation looking mostly clean and ends up in another guest's cabin. It's a health risk, it's a morale destroyer, and it puts your steward in a very awkward spot. In many cases, stewards are required to log damaged linens, too many stained towels, and they're questioned, not because they did anything wrong, but because it reflects poorly on how they're managing the cabin. Some lines, like Holland America and Celebrity, have started implementing linen tagging to trace damages. A high number of replacements? That could affect a steward's performance review or delay their eligibility for bonuses. Now imagine you're the steward walking into a bathroom that looks like a Sephora battlefield. Lipstick swipes on the hand towel, foundation smears on the bath towel, a dark halo on the washcloth. They know it's not personal, but it still stings. Here's the fix. Bring your own makeup remover cloths. Better yet, pack a few old dark-colored towels or microfiber wipes. You'll save yourself embarrassment, and you'll save your steward a whole lot of grief. Cruise ships aren't stocked with infinite linens. Everything has to be laundered, sanitized, and rotated with precision. Destroying towels isn't just a cosmetic problem. It's a logistical one. Use the towels for drying off, not for erasing last night's eyeliner. There are accidents, and then there are liquid disasters that go down in cruise history. Ask any steward about the worst cabin cleanup they've ever had to handle, and there's a good chance it involved a beverage: wine, soda, juice, coffee, cream liqueurs. Stewards have cleaned them all, from walls, from curtains, from bedding, and yes, even from guests' clothes. But one incident stands out, shared anonymously by a senior steward aboard a Caribbean sailing. A woman spilled an entire glass of red wine on her balcony table. Instead of cleaning it up, she went inside to get a towel. And in that moment, a breeze tipped the glass, sending the wine cascading through the balcony slats, directly onto a white formal suit hanging to dry on the balcony below. The result? A furious confrontation between cabins, a formal wear emergency, and an immediate incident report logged by the crew. Here's the part most guests don't consider. Cruise stewards are responsible for not just the visible mess, but also the aftermath. Stains that seep into carpets, smells that linger in enclosed spaces, and stickiness that attracts insects when the ship docks. And it happens more often than you'd think. Champagne on sheets, pineapple juice in the wardrobe, an entire frappuccino soaking a nightstand drawer. So here's the golden rule: never leave drinks unattended, and never place open beverages on the balcony railing or edge. If you spill something, report it. Most stewards would rather clean it right away than discover it after it's had 8 hours to ferment under tropical sun. Ah, towel animals. The whimsical surprise that turns a clean cabin into a tiny zoo. They're adorable, they're creative, and they've become a highlight of many cruisers' vacations. But some guests turn these thoughtful touches into unreasonable demands. Can I have a dolphin tomorrow? Do you do dragons? I want a towel monkey swinging from the ceiling fan. These requests, while playful, add stress to an already jam-packed schedule. Stewards are cleaning dozens of cabins a day, restocking supplies, handling special requests, and fielding guest complaints. They are not full-time towel artists. In fact, some cruise lines have started phasing out daily towel animals unless requested, not because they're unpopular, but because the labor involved is extensive. So enjoy them when they appear. Take a photo, smile. But don't make it a performance review. Your steward's job is to care for your space, not run a nightly towel circus. Some passengers treat their cabin steward like a personal butler on call. They wait in the hallway. They peek around the corner. They ask, "Is my room next?" Sometimes they even stand outside the door, arms crossed, watching the steward clean, adding pressure and throwing off the timing. Stewards have a system. They rotate through rooms based on availability, guest check-ins, supply refills, and service windows. When guests start making demands, "Can you clean mine first?" or "I need it done in the next 5 minutes," it forces them to reshuffle their entire plan. Be patient. Your cabin will get the same attention and care as everyone else's, and chances are the wait will be shorter than you think. Coming back from the pool with wet towels is expected. Draping them across the bed, the desk, the couch, and over the TV, not so much. Cabins are small, and damp towels left in the wrong places quickly turn them into miniature saunas. Even worse, some guests hang them over the balcony, not realizing that drips can land on other passengers' furniture or even their heads. Want to be helpful? Use the drying line in the shower, or ask for an extra towel rack. Don't turn your room into a rainforest. We get it. You're eco-conscious. You don't want to waste. But on a cruise ship, reusing that old coffee mug for 3 days straight isn't environmentally friendly. It's a health code violation. Cruise lines follow strict sanitation protocols, often under the guidance of the U.S. Public Health Service. Used cups, even if they look clean, must be swapped out. And no, rinsing them in the sink doesn't count. Your steward's job is to remove anything used, even if you think it's fine. Let them. You're excited. You see your cabin door open a crack. You assume it's ready, so you roll your suitcase inside. But it's not. The bed might be half made, the bathroom may be halfway through a scrub, and you've just derailed your steward's schedule. Stewards sometimes have to double back later, once you leave again, turning a 10-minute job into a 30-minute revisit. Wait for the all clear, or knock and politely ask. You'll get in faster and with a much cleaner room. It happens every voyage. Someone steps onto the balcony to enjoy the breeze, shuts the sliding door behind them, and hears that horrifying click. Now they're stuck. Outside, in their robe, waving at strangers through glass. Your steward? They're the one flagged down to call security, interrupt their route, and unlock the door. Cruise rule: never fully close the balcony door unless someone else is inside, or you have your key. This one's not about towels or toilets. It's about respect. Stewards greet you dozens of times a day. Good morning? Have a nice excursion. Welcome back. And some guests say nothing. They walk by. No eye contact, no nod, as if the steward doesn't exist. It might not seem like a big deal to you, but it is. Because the same stewards replacing your toiletries and folding your towel elephant are human beings. And being treated like background noise takes a toll. A smile. A thank you. Using their name. It costs nothing, but it means everything. Want the best service of your cruise? The secret isn't money, it's mindfulness. Respect their space. Don't make their job harder. Be honest about messes. Follow the basic cabin rules and treat them like the heroes they are. Because stewards are the reason your cabin stays magical, your cruise stays clean, and your trip feels effortless. Be the guest they remember for the right reasons. Did one of these surprise you? Got a cruise fail to confess? Drop it in the comments, especially if it involves a wine spill or towel animal gone wrong. Like this video if it saved you from a cruise faux pas. Share it with someone who needs Cruise Etiquette 101. Subscribe to Cruise Watch for more real talk, verified secrets, and tips that'll make you every crew member's favorite guest. Thanks for watching, and here's to smoother sailing for you and the crew who makes it all possible.